Evening, Gasheads. Welcome back to another live stream. It's been absolutely ages, since we've done one. Obviously, in international break, thank God that is over. Felt like absolutely so long since we last played a game. And yeah, I'm glad that it's over, international break. I'm sure all you are as well. And yeah, back to the league. Obviously, welcome back to episode 9 of the Talking Gas podcast. Appreciate all the support since we started it. Appreciate all the support in general anyway. And yeah, obviously we're going to be getting into the Derby game, going to be talking about the last league game, which is obviously Carlisle, talk about the Newport game a little bit, of course, into the knockouts of that competition. And of course, the craziness that's going on with this new manager, or what is it, Mangan on trial, whatever you want to call it. It's been a month to the day that Barton got the sack, and yeah, going to be talking about that as well. As always, get your questions in on the live. If you're watching it back on the replay, don't forget to leave your score prediction, any questions, any comments, leave them down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. On the road to 7k, hit the like button if you're in. 24 of you currently in, so do hit the like button. And yeah, hope you enjoy. Again, we're going to be joined by Jake Barker later on as well from the RamsTalk Podcast. Going to be giving his thoughts on Derby season so far. Obviously, thoughts on their manager. And yeah, as always, we'll be getting into predictions, score predictions and lineup predictions. But yeah, joined by Neil as always. How are you doing? And yeah, how was your time over international break?
Yeah, what's happening, mate? Yeah, all right. I mean, international break's all right for me. I don't mind it, but don't watch no football, to be honest. I don't got no interest in international football, to be honest.
Yeah. Forget that football was terrible over that. But yeah, evening to Matt Bray, evening to John, Mitchell, Richard, Tom Butler, Ford and Blue, obviously, Ford and Blue saying about the shorts gas and singing gas video Neil put up. But yeah, finally back. I mean, let's go back to Carlisle, really. That was the last league game. First win up there in 18 years, getting a 1-0 win. Very scrappy, very scrappy game, but we got the win to make it, 5 unbeaten in all competitions. And obviously to get the win on the road, which was important as well, because we haven't been as good on the road as we were last year. Yeah, what did you make of that? Quite a few changes. Obviously, Connor Taylor out with a broken hand as well, which isn't good. It was sort of like the Marquis situation, but Marquis was back a month earlier than expected, so hopefully Connor's not too long away. What was your thoughts on that game? Obviously, an own goal, so none of our players actually scored. But what did you make of it? 3 points was the main thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, like I said in the week. It was going to be one of them that you get up there, get it done, and get out. Knew it wasn't going to be much to watch. Knew it was going to be an unpleasant thing is a spectacle to go and look at and view. I watched it in the sunshine, so it wasn't too painful. But the game itself was, it was one you'd forget, wouldn't it? Really, it was nothing special. But like I said, it's one of them ones you get 2 or 3 of them in a season. It's just get up there, get it done, get out. And if you just said, we're going to take 3 points from Carlisle, don't matter how you get it, just go and get it. And it was one of them, really, just sort of outgrinded them, to be honest. Because if I'm Carlisle, I'm thinking this is where we got to get our points. Like, we drag sides all the way up here. We got to make this a right fortress to give ourselves a fighting chance of staying in this league. And they sort of whimpered through it, really. I wouldn't, if I was a Carlisle fan, I wouldn't be overly impressed with what they put out there that day. To me, if you're Carlisle and you've just come up and you want to drag sides right up there, like if you was a side like Plymouth doing the same, dragging sides down there, you'd want to make it as horrible as you could. And as much as the game wasn't great and didn't have a lot of quality in there, I don't think they made it desperately difficult for us, like really, really horrible. But it was efficient without being wonderful as far as I'm concerned. But 3 points is 3 points, and you take them any way you can get them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we both talked about, especially, how tough it was going to get. Our record up there has been poor really long trip, 12-hour round trip. I got up at 5:45. Obviously, some people stayed there in Newcastle and whatever. But yeah, like you said, it was a main thing getting the win. Like you said, far from pretty. It was a weird formation. I still don't know what it was, but it got the job done. I think we only had maybe one, if not two, chances. It's good to see Hunt being back. I think he's massive to the way we play. Also, James Wilson, if you look at I think he's played, that's 8 now he's played in the league. I know it's not a load of games to look at the scale, but if you look at the games he's played, our record's far more better, and he just gives you that calmness and, dominant, defender really. And yeah, like you said, own goal, very scrappy game. Apart from the last 10 minutes, obviously Kramer getting the red card, he misjudged the bounce, and their player who they brought off the bench was pretty rapid. He brought him down, didn't really, it was either that or let him score open, through on goal. So yeah, it was mainly then where, it looked but even then they didn't do loads. It was crosses in the box, shots from outside the box. Obviously Cox done what he had to do, and yeah, we've seen the game out, and yeah, got the win. There ain't loads to talk about. Like I said, it wasn't the best game to watch, but yeah, we got the 3 points, and obviously, before Lincoln played their game the other day, it moved us, without even playing a game. I think it moved us tonight, but obviously we're back down to 10th, and yeah, what have you made of, since Mangan's come in, what have you made of the performances? Obviously, we haven't lost a game. And if you look back, obviously, the games he was in charge in the league, when Barton was here, but he was suspended, drew at Pompey, drew against Barnsley. What have you made of the performances since he's been, caretaker, on trial, whatever you want to call it? What have you made of it?
I think sort of Saturday sums up what it has been for a while now, with Mangs in charge. I think he's made us sort of efficient without being spectacular. We're not as open as we were under Joey. We're not as open as we were under Joey. Like we look to play on the break from 20 yards from our own goal, and when someone can like counter pressure and break on you, it left us really exposed. We're not as open as we were under Joey. But as far as what we're looking at, as far as a sort of style of play, like I said, I think we're efficient without looking wonderful. I think we've sort of won games we should have won. I don't think he's pulled up trees. You know what I mean? But what do you expect? I mean, he's a novice, man. He's doing great for what he's doing. He's doing fantastic for the job he's been thrust into. You know what I mean? His best mate's been given the bullet. That's a sucker punch. And he's been asked to, hold the ranks as a complete novice. He's doing great. He is doing great.
Yeah, exactly. He's just been, grinding out. Like you said, he's made us tougher to beat. Fair enough, it hasn't been pleasing on the eye, but, you're not going to, it's sort of, we've grinded games out. Whether he's only doing that, before he gets the job permanently, because you can't play like that, and you're not going to get away with that playing like that every week. When it comes now to our tougher run, where you've got Derby, Portsmouth, a lot of tough games coming up, you can't afford to play like that.
I don't know, really. I mean, I think if you look at what Bangs has done, and now we're not as open, and we are far more narrow for long periods of the game, I'd have no problem going into big hitters playing like that, because I'd rather be that than go toe to toe with and be wide open. And got done 4-0 at Derby last year playing like that. You know what I mean? Sides can run over you early if you're not careful. I haven't got a problem when Mangs have gone about like the way he set us up. And like I said to you before, whether I've watched games or played in games, if you're winning, you don't care how you're playing. Yeah. I can sit and watch. I can sit and watch dross if we're winning football. Do you know what I mean? Makes no difference to me. I just like winning. And players are the same. players only hate the way they play when they're getting beat.
Yeah.
But I've got no problem going into, sort of this run in December where it is a tough run, being a bit more reserved, because there's sides there that you think are good points, especially on the road, if you can get them.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
we talk about being sat 10th, and the league being a complete circus and being wide open. I'd rather us, much like probably a lot of sides, I'd rather being sat in 10th up until sort of like March and go under the radar and then make a real dash for it late in the day, because there's not going to be too many points from, sort of 6th down to 11th, 12th.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not that. I mean, for me, it's not the fact that like I'm the same as you. Though I don't mind it, but I'm just saying, will you get away with that sort of being like that? Against the tougher teams, because like you said, he has made us tougher to beat. We haven't been as attacking, but like you said, he has grinded us out the points. Obviously, the teams we have played, like you said, are teams that were basically like relegation threatened teams that we've been playing since he's, obviously the first game was Northampton. Obviously you got the FA Cup game in there. You've got the Newport game in there. But like you said, it is teams that we are meant to beat, but he has got the job done. There were a few games under Barton where, you look at Burton, for example, even though they're on the good run, you expect them to at least, get a point. But yeah, like you said, I think we're 6 unbeaten in all comps, 5 since Mangan's come in. So yeah, he has made us a lot tougher to beat. I mean, in your opinion, and obviously let us know in the comments, do you think he'll sort of change that if he gets it permanently, the job? Sort of to go into his sort of own sort of style, or do you think he'll keep it tight and sort of try and edge games? Because even then, like before that, we probably would have scored more if we could. The Northampton game, even the Newport game. Last week? I went to that, and it was we had so many chances, but obviously in the end it was only 1-0, but we got the job done. Do you think he'll change the way we play if he gets it permanently, or do you think he's just doing it for now and until he gets it, or they announce someone?
I mean, first of all, I'd be fascinated. I'll be absolutely amazed if he gets it full time. Absolutely amazed. But
really,
yeah, no matter how he does. Where is the logic in sacking Barton and giving the job to his understudy that is a complete novice? That is nowhere near the criteria the manager they've said they're going to go out and get. It doesn't meet any of the criteria whatsoever. Like, he's had a great little honeymoon period, Mangs, winning games that really we should have won against, but that isn't a CV worthy of getting this club out of this league. As far as holding the reins, he's done fantastic, and the timing of getting rid of Joey has bought us that sort of time with the fixtures that we've got and what we've had. And now we're going to start getting into the thicker things where we've got tough fixtures and there's points to be won and picked up. And they need to go in and appoint a manager that they've stated that they need to go and get off the back of the criteria they've set out. And Mangs ain't it. Mangs is not it, sort of thing.
No.
But as far as what do I think he'll do in the long run, it's like any manager that's got any sort of nous that goes to take a side over, no matter if you're experienced or not. You identify the issue, which was we were leaky.
Yeah.
He's tightened us up, and then you start to evolve from there. So I don't think if he did get the job, we play like this every single week, but you take every single team on its merits and you set up how you best see to win that as a mini project. And what he's done so far is great. But no, I think that team will eventually, if he did get it full time, would evolve into something else off getting that more solid base.
Yeah, I agree. It's just crazy, isn't it? I tweeted the other day. I just think it's so mad, the fact that when we started, it's been a month. It's been a whole month, and you look at other teams like Oxford and like Lincoln. they've got it done pretty quickly. They know what they want to get. With us, they've sort of, and I know people will say, oh, it's better to wait longer and get the right person, but they've just gone out and, like, you see who we've interviewed. You've got Cottrell, you've got Holden, you've got Neil Lennon the other day. We interviewed him. You know, Matt Taylor, they're all different styles of manager, whether it's sit back, possession based, counter-attacking football, whatever. It's just seems, don't you reckon? And for me, the longer it seems to go on, the longer I think Mangan is going to get the job, because there's been so many. Yeah, I mean, Ben said Lincoln took 3 weeks, but even then, the way they want to go about things and play, they brought in that style of manager, same as Oxford. And with us, it just seems a whole mix and match where we've interviewed different styles of manager, different ages. Like you said in the interview that he done, come out and said we want a young manager who's had success of getting promotion, you know, and yeah, someone that's young and, you know, a good you know, style and philosophy of football. And then obviously the other day, what do you make of Matt Taylor as well? You know, I haven't had your thoughts on that. What do you make of that? Him, because for me now, he goes top for me personally. I really like what he done at Exeter. He went from academy manager to first team manager, was there 4 years, got him obviously promoted out of League Two, and probably one of the better teams I've seen in recent years that have played us, and especially come to the Mem and the way he plays. What do you make of that?
I mean, again, talk about criteria and what he's managed to do previously. He's definitely, he's definitely a candidate. My only problem with him is, and it's not even a problem, it's just my personal take on it, is you've gone from a group of players that were all Joey's players. You know, you've got a lot of Northwest and Scouse lads, and they're big personalities. And ain't Matty Taylor just any boring? Like, you ain't going to get no charisma. You're not going to get no sort of personality using out of him. It's just a pretty vanilla fella, isn't he? And I just don't know if that lends itself well to what they've got as a squad of players, because the criteria is going to be, whoever's managing is like, we've done our money. We have done our money. That is your squad.
Yeah.
Can you work with it? And as far as quality of player, I expect every manager will sit down and go, yeah, I can work with it. But are they going to buy into him? Are they going to get on? Is it going to be a good day-to-day relationship? You know, I thought from what was getting spoke about, the Robinson one sort of suited it better. You know, Scouse lad probably knows plenty of them lads. And that's the best option for Mangs to keep his job. He'd slip straight back in because they know each other. Like him, Robbo and Joey were obviously, they knew each other well. They obviously got on. That's probably the best scenario of Mangs keeping his job, I'd have thought. But it doesn't look like that's a possibility now. It looks like he's been ruled out now, Robbo. So I don't know. Like the Taylor one, like I say, it's all about results and winning games. And if you can come in and do it all the way, I just don't know how that personality is going to marry itself up with the sort of personalities we've got as a playing staff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like you said, he is very, very different. So obviously, for one, Joey, who we had, and then for one, like you said, different people will have their different thoughts. Like you said, he doesn't seem as sort of, you know, you look at Robinson, but even that Monk's sort of the same. Monk's sort of the same as
pragmatic.
Taylor. They don't seem as sort of outgoing as well. And like you said, Robinson, you know, with all the, you know, Scouts players, and like you said, he's been around this level for years. And
I'm splitting hairs a little bit, but it's just a personality thing. I look at it and just think, you know, you got to go on the training ground with these lads every single day, and if they're not going to have you, it will soon tell.
Yeah, and obviously the other thing that I like when I seen the post that Dan put on Bristol Live is obviously Taylor was at Rotherham, got the sack, and for me it's obviously different because a lot of Rotherham fans saying his football was poor. You know, he was there a year. But obviously when you look at Exeter and you look at our team, with our team, there's so many players, you know, attacking players, which Taylor is used to working with, which I like as well. But what's your thoughts now? like, how long do you think it's going to go on for? Why, you know, a lot of people think, you know, if he gets a decent result at Derby, he gets the job. What's your opinion? Who do you think is going to get it? Because it's been going on for so long now. Like, us fans, and even the players just want to know, like, what's going on, because you can't keep going on, and it's just been crazy, hasn't it? Like, what do you make of it?
Well, you asked me a few weeks ago, like, do I trust this board? And as the days go on, I'm struggling to know what I think of them, to be honest, because rightly or wrongly, the approach you take to sacking a manager is you tap up the next bloke first. You identify who you want before the other one goes out the door. You tap them up and you make sure that's 90% over the line before, obviously, you go through the procedure of getting rid of your manager and announce the next one. It's pretty much what Oxford have done. It's pretty much the road Oxford went down to get Buckingham through the door. And that's it's not the fit and proper way to do it, but that's the way it goes. But I think you go all in. I think you go balls in for Warnock. That's the way I think we should go. That is a man. You're talking about criteria. You want a promotion. You've got a squad worthy of being able to, get results in this league. There's no one better in the short term to get us to May, to get us the best chance of getting out of this league. There is no one better. But if you're going to go on what Warnock said in the week, you're going to have to wait until post-Christmas for that to happen. Now, if I'm Mangs and someone says to me, oh, you can hold on to this, but you are definitely gone after Christmas, I'll be like, poke your job. I'm going to go and look after myself and go elsewhere. So it's a tricky one. But like I said, about you asking me, I trust the board, I've got no idea what they're going to do. I've got absolutely no idea.
Yeah,
I can't
same as me.
think on it. It's a mystery, complete mystery. And you're right what you say. It's 100% right what you say. These players are going to go into training every single week, not knowing the next day they see Mangs, next time they see Bondi, not next time they see Wheelo. They could be gone in a heartbeat, and we're in limbo. We're in complete limbo at the minute. You can't live week to week as a football club.
Mm-hmm. That's the other reason. Just before we bring in Jake, that's also the other reason why I think Mangan will get it, because why else would we bring in, like, why would you bring in Bond on a part-time basis? Like, for me, I still, because of the amount of craziness and how long it's gone on for, and everything else that's gone on, what I've heard, Robertson saying stuff, that's why I think, because bringing Bond back, someone to help out Mangan as well. But, it is what it is. I'm sure we'll see. Well, I said that a few weeks ago. I'm sure we'll see what's going to happen in the next few days to a week, but it could be anything. I don't really know. But
where do you sit with it then? Would you give it Mangan?
No, I wouldn't personally.
I was going to say, I just think
I want Taylor. I want an actual manager, and the criteria, like you said, of what the owners in that interview, what they've done. So I would give it to. If Warnock was like younger and not doing all this thing I'd give it to him. But like you said, I don't really want to, him to come in on a short-term basis to the end of the season and then go again.
But you've got to look at that scenario. You can say, I don't want Warnock coming on a short-term basis. What happens if Warnock comes in on a short-term basis? You end up a championship club, and then you're scouting for a completely different manager, aren't you? But I just think if you're scratching around for a manager that you haven't really identified as the A1 target, who better? I'd rather Warnock come in and keep it ticking over till the summer than Mangs. That's just my own personal opinion, because I think we got a better shot at it. And then whatever comes of the summer, whether we're a League One club or a Championship club, whatever it may be, you're in a better position regardless. And I just think Warnock could, a bit like what Joey did, he can elevate us a little bit off the pitch regardless.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's loads of comments. Few people mentioning Holloway still. Few people with saying, Kieran saying give it Mangan to the end of the season. A few, obviously, Ben's mentioning Warnock and stuff. But we're pretty much going to get into the Derby preview now. Over 40 of you in do keep hitting the like button if you haven't. Do subscribe. Make sure to have notifications on. We're going to go live on Sunday as well for the obviously Leyton Orient coming up on Tuesday at home. So we'll be back live as well on Sunday. Don't know what time yet. Probably be 8 o'clock again, but we'll have to see. But yeah, we're joined by Jake Barker from RamsTalk Podcast. And yeah, appreciate you coming on. And also, congrats on the award at the FCAs as well.
Thank you very much. Good evening, Charlie. Good evening, Neil. Charlie, your moustache is amazing, by the way. Just want to say it is pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, still going. yeah, still going. But yeah, good to have you on. Appreciate you coming on. Make sure to go and check them out on all podcast platforms and on YouTube as well. Basically, their at is just go on Twitter and YouTube, go and subscribe to them, go and give them a follow. Really quality content. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Like you put on your tweet the other day. Yeah, Chris Martin. Yeah, Chris Martin show in the background as well. Yeah, Chris Martin. And also Luke Thomas, another ex-Ram. I don't know how many games he even played for them, but I remember he was there as well. But yeah, I mean, first of all, yeah, what's your thoughts on Martin? Because I seen the comment that you put out about him as well, and I'm guessing he was a quality player there, wasn't he, Chris Martin?
Yeah, he was. Chris Martin's one of those players that when we look back at Derby's, I guess in inverted commas, glory days, about 10 years ago now, he was probably the man that made it all happen. His hold-up play, he'd hold the ball up, midfield runners had run through, and he'd scored loads of goals as well. I mean, maybe a slighter exaggeration in this, but he's kind of similar in a way to the way Harry Kane plays. Obviously nowhere near that level, but it's a similar style. Hold that ball up, he controls the midfield, but he also gets in the box and scores loads of goals too. And yeah, I've got a nice match-worn shirt behind me of him. I love him so much. Honestly, he's probably one of the best players we've had in the past decade, and I'm very jealous he's joined you over us. Yeah.
It was an interesting one because there was talk of obviously after the Clark Harris madness that happened, even now, we still might get him in January. He's not even, he's barely coming on for like 10 minutes now. But yeah, Chris Martin was a signing that we made. He's on a short-term deal till January, and he's done really well. Considering he hadn't played for ages. I think he's almost got like a 1 in 2. I think so far for us. I think in the league he's got 3 and 8 or maybe 4 and 8, something like that. But he had sort of a slow start, and even now he hasn't been getting loads of chances. Like he's been getting one chance and basically scoring. Like his finishing's class. I'm sure you've probably seen as well the goals that he scored, the worldie he scored against Stevenage, the little flick against Northampton, and then the goal at Reading. All quality finishes. And yeah, for a player that's turned 35 3 weeks ago, he's a really good player, and I think he's done really well. But yeah, getting into Derby, what's been your thoughts on the start to this season?
Good question, that. To be honest, it's very mixed. We had a really, really poor start, especially at home. First 3 or 4 home games, we didn't win. We looked really off the pace, but we looked really good away. And now it's sort of swapped the other way around, and we're really strong at home. I mean, we obliterated Northampton 4-0, battered Barnsley 3-0, and looked really, really strong. And then comment. We just really inconsistent. I think the term we used on our pod was consistently inconsistent, because we just seem to change game by game. We'll have one great game, we'll have terrible games, and it just depends which Derby turns up, and it depends whether we have our top players available, because if we miss 1 or 2 players, it's basically done for us.
That's basically I said that a few weeks ago, consistently inconsistent. It's the same with us, because it's mad. Obviously Neil touched on it earlier when we were chatting about the season so far, and it's mad how 6 wins, 5 draws and 5 losses, and we're 4 points off the playoffs. It's mad. Like if we beat you, touch wood, we'd be a point behind you, and we'd be like a point outside the playoffs, which is crazy. So, and yeah, obviously I was going to get into it as well, but what's your thoughts on Warren? Because I remember seeing a few weeks ago, I think it was after the Shrewsbury game. There was a video on Twitter and it was mental. Everyone going mad. And then I think after that you lost to Stevenage as well. But obviously I think the home form in the last few games, obviously apart from the result the other day against Crewe, has been good. So he sort of saved himself in the last few home games, because I think you've won 3-0 against Barnsley and you battered Northampton 4-0 I think a few days after we beat them as well. So yeah, what's your thoughts on Paul Warne? Because Neil, we also discussed it a few weeks ago. Neil, even Neil and a lot of people were probably, because he was at Rotherham, it's completely different kettle of fish going to a massive club like Derby, and obviously the fans, and you're there expecting to win the league or get out of the league at the first time of asking. So what have you made of Warne?
It's a difficult one with Paul Warne because, like you mentioned there, really important point. He'd only ever worked at Rotherham before he came to us, and I think it showed a little bit. Last season, he inherited a team that wasn't great. I mean, it was a team literally built in a week. Some of the players we recruited, Tom Barkhazen was recruited by Richard Stearman after he bumped into him in a bar. That's the sort of signings that we were making, because we didn't have any players, we didn't have any scouts, we didn't have any staff, and we had to sort of cobble together a team. And Liam Rossini did an amazing job. And Rossini obviously went, and then we got Warne in, and Warne, to his credit, did really, really well. We went on an amazing run, went about 20 games unbeaten. I think we beat you 4-2 in that run as well, which is a really good game. And yeah, we just looked like a good team. Towards the end of the season, we started to tail off. And then we've started the season the same way. I think we play sort of Rotherham underdog ball sometimes. We've stopped doing that in recent home games. We started going more on the front foot, but we were playing with the handbrake on. We were sitting back. We didn't want to lose. And when you're playing, and no disrespect to any of these teams, but when we're playing the likes of Cambridge at home, you'd expect us to go out and really attack the game and try and bring the game to them. And it ended up being the other way round. And we had players like Conor Hurahan sitting in at the edge of his own box, just keeping possession. And it makes you think, why? So yeah, Warne's been under a lot of pressure. He's not helped himself with the comments that he's made in the media. He has a tendency to maybe be too honest, but at the same time, he seems really reluctant to ever criticise the team. We drew 2-2 with Crewe the other week. Obviously lost the replay as well, ironically. But we drew 2-2 with Crewe, scored 2 goals late on. And he came out and said, even if we'd lost the game 2-0, I'd have said the lads are excellent. And, when you 2-0 down to Crewe in the league below, it makes you think, what is running through your head? So we've stepped up a little bit recently. Obviously, we lost to Crewe, typically. We don't seem very consistent, but we're in and around the playoffs. We've got some players absolutely firing. Nathaniel Mendes-Lang looks excellent at the minute. And yeah, we've got some really good players. We just need to get them working. And I don't know whether Warne's the man, but I don't think he'll go. I've spoken to Derby's chairman, David Clowes, or Derby's owner, David Clowes, and he said there's very little chance he'll go. He's not going to sack him. He's there for the long-term project. He's turned the mood around at the training ground. Everything was so down before, all the administration. No one was pulling the same direction. Now everyone off the pitch is pulling the same direction. It's just his job to make sure that they do it on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. It's been a bit of a whirlwind. And like you said, it's always interesting because obviously I'm a Rovers fan, but I always find it interesting. I always watch the Paul Warne interviews and stuff, and like even I can't remember what game it was. It might have been the Stevenage game, but he come out wearing was it a cap or looking like it was all a bit mad. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Even into Rob as well. And yeah, if anyone else has got any questions, do get him down in the comments as well. Neil, what's your thoughts on Derby in general and going into the game against them?
They're a mystery to me, Derby, an absolute mystery, because well, I know as well as anyone, same as everyone knows, it's not played on paper, and I get it, but forget who's in the dugout and what you do day to day is a training routine throughout the week. At the training ground with your staff, etc. If I run you through this spine of a side in League One, like Curtis Nelson and Sonny Bradley should be the best centre-half pairing in that league by a mile. That should be watertight. Conor Hurahan, Corey Smith, Max Bird. not a side and not in this league would not kill for that in the middle of a park. James Collins and Colin Washington, spearheading that in League One, and then you've got Tom Barkhausen and Nathaniel Mendes-Lang out wide supplying bullets. I'm amazed he's kept his job. When you read it like that, you've been given all the ammo you need to go in, get an automatic spot. And I know that, you know, we're not even in the new year yet, but you should be in and around it all year, really. And I get what Warren's saying, and I understand that he comes out and he's trying to defend his players. He doesn't want them to turn. He wants to keep the change room on side, etc. But you've got to have a little bit more savvy about it. And he comes out and says stuff like, it's music to other managers' ears. He comes out and says, like, we're a soft touch. We are a soft touch. It's like,
yeah,
you're going to Stevenage, you're going to tell Steve Evans you're a soft touch and expect to go and, you know, get a result. It's music to their ears, you know?
Yeah.
I just think they've got all the resources to go and win that league, but something's not clicking there, and they're a mystery to me. Like I said, look at the spine on that side. You haven't got to do anything to it. You just got to get them right. And I go back to what we were talking about, managers, and if Warnock got hold of that side, they'd be top 2 all year.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, from my perspective, I mean, you mentioned all those players there. We've got some real quality. Only one of those players you mentioned is under 30, and that's Max Bird. And that's part of our problem, is that we've got a lot of players. I mean, Sonny Bradley's been pretty poor since he's come in. Really, really disappointed with him.
Yeah, he's been
Aaron Cash.
He's been poor. I remember, I think it was the Wigan game, and I think it was that game and the game after. He made 2 shocking errors, and because even I think me and Neil,
in the summer, you'd have snapped his hand off, wouldn't you? You just snapped. If you were in with a sniff against Sonny Bradley,
absolutely,
everyone would have taken him.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I think the thing is that we've got quite a few names, and names cost money. And we had a lot of names last season that are still on contracts now. And maybe that's stopped Warren from bringing in some of the players that he wants to bring in. You know, we've brought in some quality players. Kane Wilson has come in and he's been excellent. You know, he was brought in as a right back. He's played right wing the last few games. And without exaggerating, I think he might have the most nutmegs in the league, and he's probably played half the minutes. He runs past players like they're not even there. And we've got some really talented players. The problem is one of the things Warren's banged on about is having players that are prime age, and we don't have enough of those. You know, all of our main players are over 30 and way past. I mean, James Collins, he's had a few good games recently. Last 2 years, he's so far past that he can't run. He can't move. Corey Smith will have 1 good game in 3 because his legs can't do it. Conor Hurahan, his legs can't do it. And whilst they still have the quality on the ball and the technical ability, sometimes you need that running and that work rate. And there's only so much the likes of Max Bird can do. So, yeah, it is a difficult one. And it's just one of those situations where it's a manager who's built half the squad. The other squad he doesn't really want. He came at the start of the season, tried to play a style of play, and it didn't work. He tried to play a back 3 with wing backs, and we were just getting battered because we had nothing up top. The wing backs were just getting destroyed, and we had 3 centre backs. I mean, he was playing Sonny Bradley and Curtis Nelson as, you know, basically like wide centre backs, and Curtis Nelson was making overlapping runs down the wing. And it's like, you don't want that. We don't want Nelson to be whipping balls in. Like that's not the aim. So he's changed it. He's gone to a back 4, which he said he didn't want to play. We've improved, but we're inconsistent. So the reason why Derby fans are so frustrated is because we don't really seem to have an identity. I couldn't tell you how we play. I still don't know. And he's been here over a year now. But at the same time, you get those occasional flashes. And that's why we've got to be optimistic. You know, we batter Barnsley, look unbelievable, and then play Crewe and look like we've never met before. So, yeah, it's one of those. It's a difficult one. But I completely understand where you're coming from, Neil, because, yeah, on paper, we should be destroying this league.
Just on that, what you said in the summer about what he's done with half the squad and bringing in half. How has he brought in? And has he brought in any more of his own 30 pluses? Because if that was the issue, he says some stuff in the press that he should really not bother saying, because he's digging himself a hole. Because you can't come out and say that, you know, the average age of our side isn't as low as you'd like it to be, and then add more senior players to an already senior squad.
Yeah. I know. Well, that's exactly it. Connor Washington's the key one. He was desperate to sign him. He tried to sign him in January, didn't get him, brought him in the summer. And again, he seems a decent player, but you got Connor Washington. He's not really a goal scorer, but he'll work hard. You got James Collins, who's not really a goal scorer, but he'll work hard. And you've got Martin Waghorn, who's not really a goal scorer, but he'll work hard. You've got three strikers that play almost identical roles, and we just don't have any variation. We put in 62 crosses against Crewe. Think how many crosses that is. That's a cross like every minute and a half or something ridiculous. With 5'7" Connor Washington, the only man in the box to get it. You know what I mean? And we scored 2 goals and neither came from a cross. So there's just a lot of questions. It's just a really weird time, to be honest.
Yeah, it's point because I was going to mention that, like you said, about being a very, very experienced squad. Like you said, Neil mentioned then a lot of, Waghorn you brought back in to the club, age 33. Sonny Bradley, Curtis Nelson obviously come in. Kane Wilson is a player who I really like. He was outstanding for Forest Green in League Two. Got the move to our red neighbours on the other side of Bristol. Didn't work out, but then he's gone to you. But yeah, it's interesting. Ben saying Derby have no identity, Rovers have no manager, 0-0 written all over it. But no, it's going to be it's going to be interesting because I'm what would you say your strengths and weaknesses are? Because obviously you mentioned about crosses. I've always been a big, especially Collins. I've always rated. He's had a very good career, but like you said, even this season he scored quite a few goals, even if he has been inconsistent in some games. But yeah, what would you say your strengths and weaknesses are?
I mean,
in your
strengths-wise, we've got 2 excellent centre halves. Curtis Nelson, Aaron Cashin. Aaron Cashin is unbelievable. I mean, we turned down 4 million from Brighton for him in the summer. That's how good he is. Premier League teams are after him. He's by far, him and Nelson are probably by far our best performers. And we've got players in the middle that can unlock doors. Max Bird, especially, excellent player. He's come up through the ranks, stuck with us when we came down, and he's probably one of the best players in the league. And then we've got pace out wide. Tom Barkay's and his end product's not amazing, but he's got the pace. He'll always beat a man, and he'll always create a chance. Every single game, he'll always create a clear-cut chance. And Nathaniel Mendez-Lang's the same, but probably with a little bit better end product, and he's in top form at the minute. So I think we've got the pace to beat teams. We've got the quality in the middle to unlock doors. We just don't have anyone to put it in the net. And that's our biggest weakness. We have a tendency to not score the goals that we need, and then concede at the other end. We get hit on the break when we end up committing too many men forward, or when it gets to a point where we just start trying to play around the back, we get frustrated, we try and force it. We've got to try and find that balance, and at the moment we don't have it, but we've got the players to do it. Like I've said, we've got the players, we've got the pace, we've got the power. We just need to put the ball in the back of the net, and as you know, that's the hardest thing to do in football.
Yeah. But although saying that, the last 2 league games you have scored 7 goals. So
I know it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, which is mad. But Kieran's got a question as well. If you could sign any player to make you better, who would it be and why?
Haaland would do all right, wouldn't he? I reckon he'd probably put some of Mendes-Lang's crosses away. Realistically, I'm not sure. I think it'd be a striker. It'd probably be a big striker. Johnson Clark-Harris is the easy answer, isn't he? As always. Chris Martin would be another easy answer. No bias there at all. But yeah, that sort of mould of player. I mean, we talked about Connor Wickham in our pods the other day. He's still a free agent. Scored goals for Forest Green in this league in a really, really poor side. So basically, anyone that's large and can head a ball that goes into the box, into the back of the net, is the ideal player for us at the minute.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's. I mean, if we look at obviously you mentioned the league table, Rovers are a 10th. Like I said, if we do win, it's sort of from obviously the 4-2 loss at your place. Obviously, one thing to say, thank God McGoldrick has left from an opposition fan, because I think even that home game, I don't think he had. I think the 3 chances he had, he scored all of them. And obviously after that, I think that was when we were. I think we had Plymouth at home, we drew with them, should have beat them. Wednesday away, again, we should have beat them. Then I think it took us our toll. I think 3 games within a week, a few of our key defenders got injured. And yeah, I didn't actually go as well. I missed that. I'm lucky I'm going this time, but I had COVID, so I had to miss that Derby game. So hopefully, a loss at your place, a draw at our place, so then hopefully a win now. Fingers crossed. That's what I'm hoping for. But yeah, yeah, 2016. Yeah, fingers crossed for us, obviously. But it is obviously going to be a very really tough game with the especially your the home form in the league. You haven't even conceded a goal in the last 4 league games, and you've only conceded 5 at home all season. So yeah, it is going to be tough. But yeah, we're 4 points behind you. Obviously we're in 10th, you're in 7th. So hopefully, yeah, we can get a good result and try and put some pressure and make it difficult. Especially there's going to be 27,000 plus, in the stadium, and we need to quieten you down and hopefully, try and take advantage of some, if Bradley's playing, which he probably won't be because you said you've got Curtis Nelson and Cashew. Obviously if we go the last 5 in the league, obviously you beat Barnsley 3-0, beat Northampton 4-0, lost 3-1 to Stevenage, beat Exeter 2-0 and lost to Shrewsbury. Obviously the 2 losses coming away from home, and then we're 1 point behind that. You've got 9, we've got 8. Obviously beat Carlisle, drew with Reading, beat Northampton, drew with Stevenage and lost. Obviously that 4-1 Burton loss. Like I said earlier on, our away form hasn't been the best. I think we've won 3 out of 9. Obviously we won our last game on our travels, but we've been better at home. We've only lost once at home, so it would be better if we were playing at home because obviously your away record isn't great either. Hopefully we can try and make it back-to-back wins or keep up the good away form. I mean, getting into lineups, we're pretty much getting to lineups. We talked about a lot about Derby, how they're getting on, strengths, weaknesses. Keep hitting the like button as well. Keep subscribing. Like I said, go and subscribe to RamsTalk. Check them out on all the platforms as well, on podcast platforms, and follow RamsTalk on Twitter as well. But yeah, we're going to get into lineups now. We'll come to you in a minute, Jake. Think of what lineup you would go for on Saturday. And yeah, we'll start with Neil's Rose team. Obviously, like we said, well, Ben Dowell actually said earlier in the comments that Taylor's fit to play, which is interesting because he's got a broken hand. Marquis was out for about a month before he come back to play with his broken hand, but apparently Connor Taylor can play tomorrow. But obviously Kramer is suspended. But yeah, Neil, what would you go for? And obviously Gasheads, let us know in the comments what lineup you would go with to face Derby. But yeah, Neil, what are you saying for your starting 11?
I go Cox in goal, Josh Grant at left back, Jack Hunt at right back, Wilson and Taylor as centre half if Taylor is fit to play, like with a strap in and probably some painkiller injection if he's got to get through it that way. If he's not fit, I'll play George Friend at centre half if he's fit. I play Finley and Bogard to hold, Evans in the hole. I think our best opportunity against Derby to get success is out wide because they've got an issue with the balls coming in the box from what I've seen against Crewe anyway. Thomas and Collins out wide of Chris Martin through the middle.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, obviously, Ben's saying as well, Mendes Lang tore us apart. McGoldrick got 4 goals against us last season. So, like I said, thank God he's left because he was an absolute handful as well. But yeah, what would your starting 11 be, Jake, if you had to pick it for Saturday?
Probably not far off what Warren will pick, to be honest. Joe Wildsmith will start in goal. He's had a strong season so far. Right back will be Ryan Nyambi, just back from Namibia international duty where he played quite well there. He's been a revelation since he's signed. He's such a good player. I'm surprised no one in the Championship gambled on him. It'll be Curtis Nelson and Aaron Cashard at centre-half. Left-back, Craig Forsyth in his 10th year at Derby, which is ridiculous. We signed him as a striker and now he plays at left-back or centre-back, which is always funny to see a player progress. I think in midfield, it'll most likely be Conor Hourihane sitting as the number 6 with Max Bird and Corey Smith just in front to provide legs. Mendes Lang on the right, Barkhuizen on the left, and then due to Washington being out with an ankle injury, it'll be James Collins leading the line up top. So, yeah, it's a decent Derby team. It's pretty much the same team that played against Barnsley, and yeah, I'd like to hope that we'd be able to get a decent result similar to last season.
Yeah, for me, I'd probably agree. Obviously, Cox in goal. Right back Hunt, thank God he's back. He's been absolute class for us since signing on a free. Unbelievable player. I'd go Friend at left back. I know he hasn't got huge amounts of pace, but I would rather have him than Grant at left back for me. So George Friend, talking about experienced players, there's gonna be quite a few on show. For both teams come Saturday. 36-year-old George Friend recently turned 36. Centre backs Connor Taylor and James Wilson. I would agree with Neil. I would put Bogard and Finley in the centre. Right wing Luke Thomas. Just behind Chris Martin, I'd go Anthony Evans. And even though I don't really like him on the left, I would prefer, if it was me, I'd probably, I'm basing this sort of off the fact what I think what Mangan will do. If it was me, I'd play 4-4-2 still. But for me, I think he'll play Collins wing again, even though I would prefer him up front with Martin in a 2. But yeah, Collins on the left, and then your favourite player, Chris Martin, who I'm hoping is going to have an absolute masterclass. I'd have him up front, and then you've still got Harvey Vell to bring on. You've still got Marquis. You've still got Sinclair. Ryan Woods, even though he's been a bit dodgy for us the last few games he's played, he's still got quality and bags of experience. So we still got a good bench as well to bring on. So that would be my starting 11 personally. And yeah, Ben Darrell saying Thomas against Forsyth should be entertaining. Saying that Forsyth, even though he's getting on, he's been a very, very good player for Derby over the years. I've seen him a lot even this season. He loves to get forward. He's like Friend is the same. Friend's 36, but we've got Lewis Gordon, another young left back, and Grant as well. And for him to be 36, he loves to get forward. So yeah, it should be interesting. But yeah, getting on to score predictions. We always do this at the end as well. Let us know in the comments your score predictions. If you're a Derby fan, put them in there. If you're a Rovers fan, are you confident going to Derby? You haven't conceded in the last 4 at home, but obviously the last game they did play in the FA Cup, obviously it was either going to be Derby or Crewe against us. We've got Crewe away, but yeah, they lost 3-1 to Crewe. So hopefully we could take advantage of them losing that and not maybe having as much confidence as they would have if they'd have beat Crewe. So yeah, let us know in the comments your score prediction. Keep liking the stream as well. Neil, score prediction for Derby Saturday. What are you going for? And goal scorers.
Yeah, for how poor Derby have been and where they are in the league and the indifferent results they've had, I still don't see us winning up there, to be honest. There's certain things you picture in your head, and I just can't vision us winning at Derby on Saturday. They're not. Look, if you look at what they've done at home, they've been all right at home. You know what I mean? And I just think, I just can't see us winning Saturday up there. I think we get beat sort of 2-0. I think we'll up and puff. We'll try hard. I just think that if we go behind, it will just lend itself to Derby going and finishing the game off. I think, maybe Mendes Lang and Hourihane are probably goal scorers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the thing. If we're going to get any good result, we cannot go 1-0 down, because especially this season, And even a lot of the time, really, even with Barton in charge, when we've gone 1-0 down, there ain't many games that we've come back and even drill. Usually when we go 1-0 down, we do lose and struggle. So yeah, Neil's gone 2-0. Jake, what's your score prediction? You must be confident.
To be honest, my prediction may sound confident, but I'm less confident that it puts across. I think you guys are a really good side. To be honest, I've watched you in the last couple of games. You look really good. You've obviously got the best striker of this generation. And you've got players that can open up defences, and you're not a bad team either. You play some good football. So I think it'll be 4-2, but I think it'll be closer than the scoreline suggests. I think it'll be similar to last season. Although I do remember being on the train to Cheltenham straight after the game last season, having every Rovers fan under the sun telling me how we were the worst team on earth and how you were going to batter us next time, which was always good fun. But yeah, I think it'll be similar to last season, 3-2, 4-2. I think we'll carry on our good run going forwards. But I think you've got enough about you to score a couple of goals at Pride Park, and I wouldn't be surprised if you pulled off a good result. But yeah, I'm gonna back the team, and I'm gonna go 4-2.
Mm-hmm. We 4-0 down in half an hour last year.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was like 20 minutes. I think it was like 3-0 down after 20. We got a goal back. Yeah, got a goal back, and then I think you made it 4-1, and then we got another late goal back. But yeah, hopefully this time, for me, we've definitely, what gives me a lot of courage going and a lot of confidence is our defense. Our defense, I don't want to say it, and then we concede 3-0 down in 20 minutes
again.
Jinx
it now, mate.
If you look at our defense, yeah, I know. If you look at our defense with Friend, Wilson, Taylor, Jack, Hunt, I think it's really good. I think it's the battle is going to be in midfield. I think it depends, obviously, Finley, Evans, and Bogard, if it's that three against Corahan, Corey Smith, who I'm sure is going to get a lot of stick for being an ex-player on the other side, and Max Bird, who again is a quality player. I think that will be the test, I think, in midfield. But yeah, what goal scorers would you go for? I know it's going to be 6 goal scorers, but if it's 4-2, both teams, who are you going for goal scorers?
I reckon Chris Martin's going to score an own goal and celebrate in front of the South Stand, I'm sure. I reckon, Mendes Lang will bag one. I reckon we'll score from a set piece finally. Curtis Nelson get his massive head on one of those crosses from Conor Hurahan. And then, I reckon James Collins will score a penalty. That's all he seems to do at the minute. So he'll probably carry that sort of form on. And then your 2 goals, that's a tough one. I think Collins will get 1 or 2. And then, I don't know. Chris Martin, by the way, for context, when he played for Bristol City, he had an open goal against us and he turned around and passed backwards. So let's hope he's in that sort of mindset on Saturday. But yeah, I reckon Aaron Collins will grab 1 or maybe 2 as well.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that would. Yeah, Ben Dowell saying 4-1 after 38 minutes last year at Pride Park. So yeah, that's like I said. We had that really tough 3 games in a week, and I think it was Gibson who we had on loan. He's now in the Championship with Plymouth. I think he was injured, and I can't remember who else. But I think we had to play Hall, and then we had, I don't know who was left back, but this season, Ben, like I said, it's so different. If it's Taylor, Wilson, Hunt and Friend, I'd be confident that we could get a result. If it's something different and Taylor's not back, or something else, then. But yeah, for my score prediction, it's tough. It's tough because, like you said, Derby's been inconsistent, but like you said, haven't conceded a goal in the last 4. But with me, I usually. We've been on decent form. We haven't been playing amazing, but we've been grinding results. So I'm going to say 2-1 Rovers. I think, like I said, we've lost against you. We've drew against you in your last 2. It's about time we go and get 3 points against you. Hopefully, anyway. That's what I'm going to go with. I'll go 2-1. I'll go with James Collins to score for Derby. And I'm actually going to go with the 2x Derby players. I'm going to go with Luke Thomas to get a goal, and for Chris Martin to hopefully not do a pass back in front of goal, but a nice tap in at the back post. So yeah, I'm going to go with 2-1, and yeah, like Ben said, if Crew can go there and win, 3-1, then hopefully we can. But even that game's going to be tough. They put 5 past you, Crew. So yeah, and we've got them away next Saturday, a week after you. So that won't be easy either. Even though they're in League 2, they're on good form. But yeah. Score predictions. Neil's gone with us not to score. Jake's gone with us to lose 4-2, and yeah, I've gone with us to win. I usually predict us to win. If we were on shocking form, like 4 losses in a row, then I'd probably say we'd lose. But because 6 unbeaten, coming off the back of 2-1-0 wins with clean sheets, and yeah, hopefully, yeah, I've gone with 2-1. But that's pretty much it. We're going to end it now. I know Celebrities just started, so I need to watch that as well. But yeah, like I said during the show, make sure to follow Jake's podcast. Subscribe to him as well. Check him out on all podcast platforms. Subscribe to, obviously, the Talking Gas podcast if you haven't already. Turn on notifications. Obviously, like I said, I'll be there, so I'll do a reaction after the game. But yeah, appreciate everyone watching. If you're watching back on the replay, leave your score predictions in the comments. And yeah, hope you enjoy. And yeah, and obviously thanks to Neil and thanks to everyone that's watched as well. But yeah, we'll see you in the next one. And yeah, Jake, one last thing.
Yeah, I just want to say a massive shout out to Her Game 2 and Kaz and Chloe, who are the reps for Bristol Rovers. We met them at the FCAs and they were really, really lovely. And everyone we met from Bristol was lovely. So yeah, it was class to meet so many people from the fan base. And if the rest of you are like that, I'm sure we'll have a really good day on Saturday. So thank you very much for having me on, guys. And thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, shout out to, I seen Chloe. Yeah, Chloe was there as well. Kaz, yeah, Her Game 2 have done brilliant stuff. I'm quite good mates with Kaz. So yeah, obviously they won it again. I think was that the second time in a row. I remember I went there when I had my when it was One Rovers Vlogs. I got nominated for the one in London, and I was there when Her Game 2 first got nominated. But yeah, two award wins in a row now as well. So yeah, fair play. Yeah, Chloe does a lot of brilliant work as well with them, Kaz, and everyone else as well. But yeah, like I said, thanks again to Jake for coming on. Thanks to everyone watching. Hopefully we can get the 3 points at Pride Park. Fingers crossed. Third time lucky. Yeah. Cheers everyone for watching, and up the gas.